Hello guys, welcome back to the Dion Gaming channel. If you actually seen my other video, which I'm sorry, it is 1 hour and 25-minute long, but it actually covers everything that you should be learning, and you shouldn't have any question about it. This is a little bit more to advance of what you actually should be aiming for. Step 1, look for a guild. Look for a guild that has actually a black zone. So that way, when you have, for example, my guild is on the Murloc station, and I have territories on this island. This purple right here means this is our alliance territory. Obviously, that doesn't means that it's our guild, but it's fine because I could just run in for safety. I can gather for safety and stuff when I have these type of territories. So if I'm gathering over here, I can just really run through the city, and I don't have to be worried about this Surge trying to kill me or a gang trying to kill me. Understand one other thing is that if you actually join a guild that has that type of territory, you can actually gather for safety inside of it. Some of these, for example, let's go for maybe right here. Some of these belongs to, again, the alliance, not the guild. But if I was in the guild that the territory belongs to, I can go inside here. There are resources in there depending on what it is up here. So if I was stone, there would be some stone and ores in there, and I can just gather that and level up in safety. Another Surge either has a good in or some really good smart player like Oldtree can just go in and kill you. But again, that is really hard if you're just running away or doing you're not trying to fight or anything like that. So it's actually a lot more safer than just gathering alone in a place like this in the black zone. So my recommendation for you is to go ahead and find yourself a guild, and it's very important to find yourself a guild, so that also that if they have a random dungeon, they can be like, hey guys, I'm new, can you guys run me through some dungeons? And they'll be like, sure, we'll carry you through a this is tier 3, but it'll be tier 4 dungeon around here. Or they'll be like, hey man, it's no problem, let's go to like the T5. You don't have to worry, you don't need Reaver T5, you don't need Reaver T4. We'll carry you through it. And basically they'll just boost you all the way to like the T5, T6 and stuff like that in no time. So going into the guild is very important. But let's say you're not actually going into the guild and doing that, then the first thing you actually do is, the majority, if you are doing solo and you don't want to like talk to anybody, then you need to focus on what I said in my top things for gathering. You need to focus at least one of these and focus real hard. I do have a video where you can actually do this in 3 days. When I went for a stepping into the shoes, which is I changed the title name, it's called now Gathering Zero Premium 3 days free to play. So when I went and stepped into the shoes, I used one of my alts, didn't have any cash, didn't have a cash, didn't have any kind of like huge fame or combat fame or anything. He was just plain brand new. I will post it on the link below and the description below, and I will post a bunch of these on top on the description below so you can actually see. So basically what I did is I explained what was going on throughout here about the grievers and stuff like that, which you really should watch this. But in short term, there are players trying to kill you, even trying to knock you down in yellow zone because it's overcrowded, and they just want to like make you lose all your materials by knocking you down each time, because you have to, if in yellow zone, each time they knock you down, you lose a percentage of what you have. So if you have 200, you might go maybe to down like 160 or 150 or so, but you do lose a percentage. So I actually went in PvP gear, and I actually started farming from yellow zone to blue zone to red zone, even black zone at the end. And though I do at one point say here something about 25 in the black zone, I wanted to edit something because that didn't came from my knowledge, it came from someone else, and I got corrected, and I went ahead and tried to put it up here on the description below. Guys, after much research, there is no 25% gathering in the black zone, because the T7 and T8 gives way too much fame. But once again, there is in the black zone, there is a lot of flat tier. Most of the people in the black zone start gathering on things that are more enchanted and more of a. So for T5, it'll be enchanted. They go for 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and they don't waste their time try to gather in flat, because it is something that you will quickly go back to the portal, and you may actually die out there and lose everything. So again, if you're actually going to be focusing on the gathering, I would try to focus on those 3 days that you actually get premium. This was actually done with 0 premium, so do it on your premium for 3 days, get to T5 and start selling, and do it very soon. When you hear this video, I'm talking about very soon. When the free-to-play started coming out, the price of T5 for high went up all the way to 180 silver. I'm sorry, 880 silver. Before it was at 200 silver. Free to play came out 880 silver. Now they're down to 700. Same thing with the fiber. They were at 800 flat. And it went down to 625, and they'll keep coming down. This is because unlike back in the years where we had data and data about how things were going to change, how fast the match was going to go down, one of the calculations that cannot be input into the data is the free to play, where players are not paying $30 and be massively coming into the game and pretty much nerfing the shit out of all those other craft. And to show you an example about nerfing the shit out of all those craft, let me tell you that at one point when I actually was, and let me actually go down here very quickly to the money part. These mats right here, not only did Hellgate did get buffed during that time, these mats were at 1.2 mil, and let me tell you right now, they're at 100,000. All these right here, they got nerfed to the bone because too much players came in to play, too much players started doing random dungeons, but at the same time, Hellgate got buffed twice, so many people started doing the Hellgate, and you'll be getting all these cool stuff that dropping, thus the price started dropping a lot as well. So again, go around and get up to your gathering to T5, and let me just show you a little quick video right here. It's supposed to be this one where someone who actually hilariously thought that I was stealing someone's gathering. This is Justino. Justino is the guy who I actually taught him about the random dungeon skipping guide, so he can make money, but at the same time he couldn't make money at one point. Something bad happened. I don't want to get into it, so I told him, let's go gathering, and I'll use my gathering T8, and I'll give you all the mats. Just you have to stay long with me, because if I gather too much and something bad happens, I will sacrifice myself or try to stop them from ganking you, and he gets you back home. So basically these are basically T5 and T6, and as you see, we were both gathering together. I'm gonna try to fast this up. I'm trying to put maybe a 0.2 speed. There we go. At 0.2 speed, I was always giving him all my mats, every mats that I can actually find. And again, because I'm much faster, this is time 2 speed. But if I could just tell you what a time speed 1 for a tier 8 looks like. And let me just scroll it just a bit back so you guys can see it. Look at that. That's 0.1, right? Yeah, that's normal speed. Again, I think I might have, did I fast forward this? I'm not sure, but again, it's so much quicker to actually do this for a tier 8 versus him staying so much longer. Look how long it takes. Well, I'm at T8, and look, he's on his T5. Even if it was a tier 6, it would be a normal speed, but again, I am much faster, and basically when I'm finished, I give him all my mats, and as he goes back home, he goes ahead and tallies all of them right here. He tallies everything that we actually gathered and gave to him, and he made out 392,000 in 27 minutes. Of course, yours will be much longer because you're using a T5, and you should be focusing on T5 gathering stuff, not T6. But if you look over here, Sky Flowers was at 223,000. I mean, we only got a couple of the other one, which was their Tier 6. This uncommon leaf, uncommon, not even common, uncommon 6 for this one, and the red leaf was only like this much. You see, it's not much for the red leaf. 59,000 for that, versus the Skyflyer, which you find a lot of them, was 223,000, 392,000 for the next 27 minutes. And basically, after you do that, after you actually get to T5 and you actually farm everything, the next step is to actually get your gear and start 2 things. You either do random dungeons or you actually do Hellgate. Now, let me explain about the Hellgate dungeon. There are actually 2 guys that I actually like to go for it. One is just straight up normal random dungeons, and the other one is the skip run that I made somewhere in May something that I used to use all the way in March 25 when I found out that the nature healer had the best way to do it. Like, I started healing my boy and he was never dying, and I asked him, why don't you at the 1 hour after before maintenance, we go and skip runs and stuff like that, and we don't share it with anybody, because we didn't know if it was against the rule to do this or not. But we did ask one of the mods after later, and they said that it wasn't really against the rule, and if there are a lot of people start crying about it, it would just get nerfed. But not many people cried about it, so we just kept doing it every 1 hour every day. So the first one is actually just a straight up no render dungeons. You go out there with a group. Advisable to go with a group between 3 to 4. If you have high spec, 3. Since this is new player, I'm gonna skip the minimum. I'm gonna go for higher. It'll be 4 or 5 for T5, and about 5 or 6 for T6. If you're actually in not you get to the high spec and stuff like that, decrease the number by 1. So the minimum will be a 3 for the T5 and a 4 for a T6. But once again, it's going to be depending on how high spec you actually go, which is going to take very long. From March 25 to April 9, I reached 400 out of 400. And if I can do that, so can you. So basically, this is what Random Dungeons looks like. You basically, it's like a WoW. You fight a bunch of mobs. Look, it's very fast clearing. Let me pop this up a little bit bigger, and let me actually make sure that this actually recording correctly. Yes, it is. It's recording correctly. So again, look how fast we just killing pretty much everything. We just whoop his ass. We started using combinations such as Royal Chest to decrease our cooldown. I use Cultist Shoes to minimize their resistance and stuff like that. But again, during this time, I want to know something. This was actually supposed to be 3 men. The reason why we got this guy right here, Turutu, is because in my core run, I experienced a lot of persecution where sometimes I wouldn't get invited and sometimes I would. If I was a good healer, I would get invited. If I wasn't a good healer, I would not get invited. But before I actually go and join a guild, I wouldn't get invited even if I was a good healer. If you're a nature, you get persecuted, and there's a video about that, which I will post another link below. The name title, things you did not know, things you never knew about Random Dungeons and Nature Healer. So again, I made up my core run, and my core run rules is no one is left behind. So if we bring it, we'll bring him even if we lose loot or fame. We are all friends. We just go together and have a good time and talk and chat and laugh and drink and all that good stuff. So again, we didn't need Turutu because our actual tank is iron. And if you keep a close eye, we use him as a hybrid, which I made him an hybrid tank, so that way, as you see, he's the one taking the most damage. We made him a hybrid tank, so that way me and him duo or trio. Again, I'll probably go that a little bit more later, but Turutu definitely did went in and tried to tank some parts and stuff like that, but majority of the time the tanking was iron. As you see, everything was being melted, and we only had 2 DPS. One hybrid, which was a tank, and the other one was Kaiten, who during this started using a Badon instead of his Lumbo. And on this Lumbo, he was using a specific build that I told him, which was basically a cooldown. You use Raining Arrow, you use the cooldown from your head and stuff like that. You use Raging Blink on your boots, so you get more damage, and then you use Raining Arrows again. But look, it's very easy. We actually did so many dungeon run. Can I put this at... Yes, please and thank you. Let's put this at ×2 so you guys can see a little bit faster. We're just clearing everything. So basically the point of the Random Dungeons is you go in, you clear all the mobs, you clear all the bosses who guards a chest loot that you allow. Once you defeat them, you can loot and get some money. That's where you're gonna get your money. And then after that, once it is depending on the floor, if it's floor 3, floor 4, for 2 floors or anything like that, once you finish the floor, you get out of the dungeons and you find another Random Dungeon and you continue the whole thing over and over and over and over again. So that will be Random Dungeons. If I actually move it a little bit further, hopefully it'll show something in here. I'm not positive. There is 20%. Let me move much forward. 44%. Maybe a little bit closer. 44% still. And then, by the way, the Random Dungeons that we were doing was actually at 1.2 mil per hour. That was how we was getting in T5, and that was with 4 players. Imagine if we just did it with 3 players, and then had somebody taking our things. Again, during this time, I was actually earning a lot of money because at one point I was getting like 10 of those books, and I was just selling them. I didn't need to use them anymore. I reached 400 to 400 spec. Again, look at very closer on the top right side. You might not be able to see that number, but we reached about 85% to 90 something percent. And when we reach at that point, unless we have something good loot, if it's a good loot, we go back and sell it real quickly. But again, we reach it to the biggest, highest percentage, which in weight, which is about 90%, and then we go home. It was very uninterrupted because again, there was the rumor where people were saying to each other that no, you're not, you shouldn't be doing T5 and T6, but we changed that, and again, it's one of the other video where we posted down. So this is actually Random Dungeon, and that's where you'll be getting your money. For example, let me just show you this one right here. Just this one right here. Let me go for I'm trying to talk fast because I'm trying to finish this video as fast as I can. Again, let's actually finish this real quickly. We killed the boss that we can actually duo if we wanted to, and there are videos out there just duo. Again, I think I got that was a point 2, right? I think I mean that was a point 2. I'm going to, as soon as we open up this thing, we want to slow it down. Boom. That was a 5.2, which actually was good money back then. I don't know how much it is right now. I earned a lot of cash. Look at Royal Chest right there. That was actually a lot of money back then. Though it was nerfed at this point, it was a lot of money back then. So I was earning money upon money. I had 33,000 gold, 9.7 mil. I started with 18 mil after farming 4 days. T5s that I made 18 mil in 4 days, and then after that I started Random Dungeon, lost 12 mil because of my guild, because a bunch of divers in tier 7, and then after that I had 6 mil, and I went up to literally to 60 mil in no time. So again, that's just Random Dungeons. That will be your main goal to actually get to. The more Random Dungeons you do, the more fame, the more silver you are going to be getting. But the second goal would be actually joining a Hellgate. And actually, let me go jump into this one to actually explain about the Hellgate. The Hellgate is basically a place when you actually go outside. If I go right here and I press M real quickly, you can go in one of these areas, not the blue area. If you do blue Hellgate in blue area, it's not a lot of fame, it's not a lot of silver, because when you actually get killed, you don't get killed, you get knocked down, and then you go back out of the instance and you keep your old loot. That's why it's not worth actually doing it, because the fame is not supposed to be that much for safety. We don't SBI always had a thing where if you have low risk, you should have low reward, and when it's high risk, you should have high reward. But in this case, there actually is something broken with the Hellgate, which is actually low reward versus low risk versus high reward, and they haven't been able to fix that at the moment. And the thing is about this is that when you actually go, I think this Lazy Grass is a 5v5, but Slow Plains, there'll be a portal right around here. It's an orange portal, by the way. It's not a red portal. And besides, you're not going to be able to kill the boss anytime soon if you're trying to find a 5v5, which is a red Hellgate, red portal. You're not going to fight him. You're not be able to kill him in time, so you don't have. I don't have to worry too much about you messing up the difference between both of them. The other one is actually a bat. One of them is a big monster, and the other one is a bat. The bat is the one for 2v2. Again, if you are doing a 5v5, it's going to be a red Hellgate, it's going to be a big guardian, and it's going to be a lot of silver, a lot of silver through the loot that you get, and a lot of fame through the bosses and mini bosses that you kill. Now, a Hellgate for orange is basically going to spawn during this area right here, and of course you might be have to go to each of the areas to find out where they actually spawn. Same thing in the Hellgate, but once you do, you kill the bat, you actually channel your way to enter the portal, and inside you're always going to be able to fight a 2v2. There are players who are trying to do a 1v2, which they're trying to do this stupid ass build just so they can actually clear either the bosses and get a bunch of fame, or just go right ahead and trying to kill you with it. And if you fall for a stupid build, you might die because, again, you were a newbie and you did not know about that stupid build you're not supposed to fall for. So if you want to know about those builds, usually one is a greater nature, the other one is a swap, where if you kill the monster, it explodes, it deals massive damage, and if you die there by the mob, they can kill. If you die by the mob, you basically lose all your loot. If you die by the player, you lose all your loot. Hellgates are full loot in the yellow zone, in the red zone, in the black zone. So one of the couple of things that you need to actually notice is that when you actually kill some of the mobs, we don't actually pay attention. Me and my friend doesn't pay attention. The other players usually don't kill the mobs. We literally just go ahead, go straight to the boss, kill the boss, and go to the middle in a 2v2. We don't have to worry too much about the mob. But if you are worried about the mob, you can kill them. But when you actually kill the mobs, they explode for huge damage. At least 2 mobs, like two creatures, explode right on top of you, they'll fully kill you. So you have to be very careful about that. Again, when you're getting to the Hellgate, you'll be fighting another 2v2 in there, and if you win, not only will you get their loot, the stuff that they're wearing, but at the same time you'll be able to get a chest, which at least gives you 4 tome each, which is about 40,000 fame in there, and a bunch of other loot that you can just make a lot of money. Everybody has a goal to actually enter, for the PvP people, everybody has a goal to actually enter the Hellgate because it's right now more broken than Random Dungeons. Hellgate beats Random Dungeons, and I said that many times on my videos. One of the best goal things you do is doing the Hellgate. Now, another thing that I want to explain is I do not know about the mini boss a little bit on the 2v2 Hellgate. I know there's 3 of them, but I forgot how much fame they was getting. I know that 5v5 gives you, the mini boss gives you a 49,417 per mini boss. If you're able to kill, literally, if you kill off mini boss and the main boss, you'll be getting 303,000 fame per run if you're actually able to kill all 5. Of course, that's not usually possible. You'll see the other side is going to be killed in 2, and you're going to kill your 2 sides unless you rush to their side, and hopefully they don't kill their boss before you actually enter. Now, that means in your sides you'll be getting 49,417 fame times 2, and they're getting theirs. Then in 5v5 you enter the middle, and there's a huge boss. One of the thing is you want to stay away from the AoE of the boss, and that's usually is about 10 to 15 meters away. What you want to do is stack under him, and basically when he does his AoE flame, it won't hit you. So I think it won't hit you, but I saw the flame not hit me during that time, so I'm gonna say it's not gonna hit you. So once the boss died and you kill the other team, or you kill the other team and the boss died, the boss gives you 105,000. Let me see, 105,412, 421. I remember that because I had the sequence of certain math calculation for the keys of each boss. So 105,421 fame for that. Once that's finished, if you're lucky, you will see another guardian spawn. You'll kill the guardian, go back in the gate, and you'll be earning more fame. Again, this is one of the biggest goals for the players who wants to actually earn a lot, and I mean a lot of fame and silver through the loot that you'll be getting. I'll be getting some loot that we're selling for $1 mil in there. Someone said that in one Hellgate he got 2 mil. Other people were claiming that in 5 to 6 hours of Hellgate they were earning 22 mils a day. And I am not going to say that I don't believe that, but yeah, I mean it sounded a little bit like the two. How do I say, suspicious? But then again, after me getting 2 mil in one run, yeah, that seems very possible if they're getting a lot of good loots through it. So these are the 2 main goals that you want to do for your for your PvE fame, which basically you're increasing your Reaver, you're increasing your weapon, your armor and stuff like that, and their spec of them. So let me tell you something, because you really know to know this at the end of the point of the game. The game is, to be honest with you, the game is all about maxing everything in here, which you can if you spend for a long time, but I don't think I heard someone said that they master everything. I'm pretty sure somebody with 10 hours said they could have done it, but again, I haven't seen anybody say it. When you do Hellgate and when you do random dungeons, you will maximizing your adventures, which you'll be able to unlock a bunch of this, which again I showed it in my 1 hour and 28 minutes video about everything that you'll be getting through here. Again, you'll be using maximizing your specs on each of your weapon, and the reason that is, as you see, you get bonus to item power to all nature staff. So again, I have all these 4, so those are all added to my main. So again, this one gives me 20, this one gives me 20, this one gives me 20 for each one, and after that you add them all up, 20 20 20 20 20, obviously it's 80, so I get 80 more power to my main weapon. And depending on which one I'm using, again, because they're all maxed, I get 198 special bonus of the one that I'm using. So if I'm using Greater Nature Staff, I'm gonna get 198. If I'm using this, I'm gonna get 198. If I'm using this, I'm gonna get 188 for that specific weapon. Since I'm using Druid, I get 198 for that specific weapon, and because I have 400 out of 400, you may not heard that term before. 400 means that all your weapons are 100 of 100. So since I have 400 of 400, I got 80 more item power added to my healing, which again, if I were to we have a 5v5 and we are all 400 of 400 and they're all 0 out of 0, we have a little bit more advantage. However, the item cap for Hellgate is 1,000, so you don't really have to worry too much about that. But again, the point of the game is actually to get everything maximized here, so that when you go to the black zone and you guys do ZVC, GVT, ganking and all that stuff, this is all end game stuff in here. Once you got everything like literally maxed out, you're going to be very, very powerful. But of course, you're going to be earning fame credit, and when you earn fame credit, you'll be able to use all these fame credit to level up something else. Again, if I want to right now, if I was still playing the game and I actually use my fame credit, I could have just clicked this button right here, click up. I would be able to, I don't have it right now, I only have 171,000. I quit the game, so again, I'm not really doing much in here. So again, but if I had 186,000, I could have clicked OK, and that would have leveled it up. So in 1 hour, I was getting 1.2 million fame, and let me tell you what that happens, what that in terms to. If I get 1.2 million fame credit every hour, look at this right there, I get 59 levels, boom, instantly. Obviously a little bit more because there it is, that's the real math. 61 level, Boom. And then the next time after that, you can make the different calculations until you reach 100 over 100. That's what I was getting. Artifact is actually the hardest thing to actually level. They have way more fame than any normal ones in here. So, what the hell? What just happened? Okay, yeah. So again, this is actually your goal. Your goal is to either go for your gathering as fast as you can to T5. Summary. That's just what we said at that. Summary. Get your T5 as fast as you can if you're going to do solo. If you're not going to do solo, join a guild who has a territory who can actually fame farm you for T4. And why do I say T4? Obviously, they can fame farm you for T5 and T6 if they wanted to, but if they wanted you to do the work, they wanted you to be like a tank or DPS and you do the work, they'll go at T4. And unlike Yellow Zone and Blue Zone, that has cluster reduction, by the way, which I explained in the other video about the 1 hour and 28 minute, the ultimate guide for new. Basically, they will not a cluster reduction for a 7.2 drops me all the down to 4.1 in a Blue Zone. In a Yellow Zone, is 5.1 basically. Like, that's my heal. Instead of 7.2, like 400 spec, it's all the way dropped down to like a flat T5 or a 5.1. So in the Black Zone, they're able to use, there's no cluster reduction in the Black Zone, there's no cluster reduction in the Red Zone, which you are allowed to go in full power and finish the dungeon much faster. Like, they can bring somebody 400 spec DPS, Badon, or somebody who does a lot of AoE, such as Blazing Staff or something like that, and they can clear all the mobs for you and just literally carry the shit out of you. Another thing that, another thing that I want to say, they're actually Insight Tome in the game, and if you actually earning so much money, you can buy some of the Insight Tome in the game and use it on when you have it in equip on. It'll give you 10,000 fame. It actually doesn't say it, but it actually gives you a Master Adventure fame, and it also gives you Master Reaver as well fame. It's also in the other video, which I actually made a little joke funny about that. Again, I want to finish up the video. This is basically for the players to want to know where to go to after they watch that other video, and that's it. I want to stop this right now before this gets to like an hour video. Goodbye. Hey guys, I'm back. I actually forgot to show two things. I really wanted to get the video. I didn't want it to make it like a last or an hour or anything like that, but it's actually at 26 minutes, so that you actually finished what I was about to say during that time. One of them is actually the Hellgate that I didn't get to actually show you guys. Again, we were actually fighting during this time. Let me actually just skim through it. And then as you see, you're going to be fighting two other players, so that's how it looks like. You'll fight the other two players. Go ahead and we're just going to finish these two players up very quickly. And then during that time we get to steal their loot. Again, during this time I was giving all my loot to Plague. Everything is all his, and we go back into the middle of the chest, steal the chest, and I think I have, there he is. I was able to show I get 4 fame, that's 40,000, and then some guild loots and stuff like that. He got a cave in here that sells for good. Got some staff in here that it was great, more artifact staff, and then again more tomes. If I actually were able to scroll this back to right here, I think during the time that we were fighting another player, do this real quickly because I want to make this at least close to 30 minutes. So I think it's this one right here. No, a little bit more back, Come on. I want to get this over with. Again, we fought these people, screw them all real quickly. We couldn't catch this guy, I think. Maybe we did. I had to fast forward it. Oh yeah, I guess we probably did or something like that. And we actually, ooh, that was too fast to actually be seen, and I actually want to slow that down because obviously that was too fast. Oh, I guess we did it. It was too fast to actually show that. Again, actually, let me go all the way down to the 5v5, because that's better. Awesome. There's a boss fight in there, and that's awesome in there. Let me see. It is at normal speed. Thank you. And they go real quick. Come on. We had to fight another team during this time, as you see. We fought the other team. It's a 5v5. They're in here. Massive fame. Wow, my tongue is actually burning. Again, there's the middle boss, and we actually want to be close to the middle boss before he start doing the AoE, but we're all good. Nobody's going to be dying in our team. We finish them off real quickly, and again, we actually start finishing the boss. Now, let me actually fast forward so you can actually see the fame. Kapow! 105,000. I knew it. 105,421 for it. And then we just started picking up our opposite and stuff like that. So what I did is I picked some of them and I started giving it to my to the other player. Again, I picked up all my stuff. That's a good cave and stuff like that. And after we picked everything like that, I give it all to them, and that was it for that. Again, when you doing random dungeons and you're doing high spec and you get to the point where you're like really high spec, let me actually shut this down. What happens is that you'll be able to do duo dungeons with someone else. Again, my partner was Iron during the Korra runs, and during this fight we were fighting her, and we invited Kaiten, and we just literally blew her out of her mind. During this time we fought with a couple other people in the guild, but again this was found by me and Iron, and we just brought everybody else inside of them. We did some duos here, as you see. We did some duos here, as we see, and we were just earning a lot of fame. And by the way, we were earning, and I'll show you in a minute. We were finished that. We did. This is pre-nerf, by the way. They nerfed this boss. They nerfed two bosses, the Archfiend and this boss. They nerfed this boss. This was before it got nerfed. And let me tell you something like that. We finished something that most players cannot even do in duo. Majority of them literally just get their ass whooped by this mine boss. There's not even a video out there showing that they can do duo. So I was actually watching my boy here Wellen during it, which I do talk about in another video. Then we duo this shaman boss that actually heals. I went DPS with healing, and we were able to finish it off. We went to T7 for 3 men. Right here it shows it, but we did get dived. The good news is that we didn't die. We were able to escape, but we never returned. Again, we did more dungeons here. I know this cannot be duo. We haven't actually tried it completely in duo, but I'm pretty sure it's not gonna do it. We need to finish with the portal and stuff like that. So we call upon the help of some of our guilds, which is my core run. We call upon Kaiten, 202, which is my core run, Stick Shield is one of Iron's friend, and myself as a druid healer, and we actually finished the boss. Again, we actually did a lot of duos and stuff like that. Like, this is actually present. You can see the time here, the date, 9 days ago with the skip runs, and we straight to the boss. We finished him off, and we got that. It's all the way somewhere in my video. Another thing is that during the times, my boy, look at him. My boy was literally, what, leather? My boy was leather, and we literally blasted the living shit out of that boss. Look. There it is. I spec'd him. He's using leather. He's not even tank. So when you're spec, and he's by the way 200 out of 400 spec on that, not so high spec on the, I think, axe or something like that. My boy Iron reached from March 25 to April 9, he reached 400 or 400 spec on that. So my boy Iron is much higher than him. But again, like, look at that. We literally blasted the random dungeons with him and I. We were doing it. Now look at this. We actually go ahead and we kill the boss, and we take it. And this is the second one that we actually fought. We kill him too, and then we get a bunch of loot. Just me and him duoing. That's what happens when you get to high spec. And look, in the beginning of the video, he's using a axe, and we're actually not skipping dungeon run or anything like that in here. We're actually fighting these. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. 2 men. And big clap, gip clap, big huge clap. Look at that. Not bad, right? Now that what happened to you guys, which higher spec, you'll be able to do more. In fact, he went with a 0 spec curse, and we actually testing new builds and stuff like that. Even though I quit the game, I love to come in and play with my boy. I mean, one time when I quit, I wasn't able to play with him like for 1 year. So I like to play with my boy Thought Maker, aka Captain Russian, which I'll put some of his channel down in the description below. Again, I love playing with this guy, but look, he actually tried to make a build for a curse staff that does enfeebled, does armor piercing, and has cultist boots, which allows you to do massive damage because of the amount of resistance reduced and armor piercing. And it's just him doing the damage, by the way, and in boom, 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 doing a little bit much faster so you guys can see the run. Again, we get close to, we get ready. Look, I even show it in there. This is his spec. This is his spec. He's not using mercenary, so he gets 20 for this, even less for this, and he gets much more in specialization because he's 62 out of 100 on here. So in all, it's like 200 out of something, but again, it's not 200 or something because that one's 20 item power, 100 of 100. Again, he's using a 4.2, 0 spec. Did I show you it, the 0 spec? Come on, before the videos. Okay, there it is, 0 spec. His curse has specs. Again, we look at the boss. We go on top. He using Enfeeble for AOE. He using the little throwing curse staff with a Q. And again, we're doing just fine with this, and he's not dying as a leather. And this is what happens when you have higher spec, and that's something the goal you want to do. And you can do 2-man done and get a bunch of loot and stuff like that. And I'm talking about a bunch of boot. If you actually go to my other video, which I posted, the other video which is talked about the things that you should not know, you'll see pictures like these. I'll do it very quickly. You'll see pictures like these with money and just money. Another one. You understand me? Another one. So you actually can watch that video if you like. But again, I wanted to show you where is your goal is. Your goal is to get to Render Dungeon. Your goal is to get to Hellgate. One of them two if you want. Your PvE, go to Render Dungeon. Your PvP, go to Hellgate. Just know that this game is PvP oriented, so Render Dungeons you can still get dive by other players. But again, if you have a good group, I'm pretty sure you'll survive somehow. Right? Yeah, right. I'm out of here.